Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Good Things Brings, the official Good Things Festival pre-festival interview coverage. Today I am joined by Matt from the very awesome From Ashes to New. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Look, you're heading down to Australia for the very first time, and it's a part of an absolutely stacked lineup for Good Things Festival. How does that feel?
Sick. A lot of different words, but that's probably the one that sits at the top. It feels pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an incredible opportunity for your first rundown in Australia to get a chance to play with bands of this magnitude in front of a fan base that has been waiting a very long time for you to make your way down under. Uh, what sort of was the moment that you realized it was time to head to Australia?
Well, I've always had that moment, right? Because it's been my bucket list country to play ever since I started doing this gig. So it took us a long time to make it happen, but some good things take a long time to happen. So I'm really excited to finally get the opportunity. I'm glad that the opportunity is coming with all these amazing bands, these amazing festivals, and we got a couple side shows which I'm stoked about. And we're gonna come down there. We don't have all the production that we run in the States. We don't have all the cool stuff, bells and whistles that we bring along. And so we're gonna kind of kick it back and throw it down old school. We're gonna bring the band, a couple crew, and we're just gonna do it the way that we remember and how we came up.
That's awesome, man. So we're looking at a more sort of authentic representation or recreation of the spirit of From Ashes to New when you get here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean it's just gonna be old school, dude. Like let's just go. Let's just bring the instruments and plug in and let's get rowdy. That's where I'm at, man.
I love that. That also kind of fits with the first time you come to a country. It should feel like that, you know. It should feel like this authentic, new, organic experience that your fans get to engage in.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as a band, you always want to have video walls and blasters or whatever, or pyro. Like, of course, you want all that stuff. Like, if I could come to Australia for the first time and bring the biggest production that you've ever seen from this band ever, like, I would do that, right? Because, like, I mean, I feel like that in itself leaves a lasting impression is to say, oh my God, like, what did I just witness? I think a really good example of that there's tons, but one that I saw recently was Bad Omens did Mayhem Festival in the States, and like I wasn't there, but I watched how big their production was and all the cool stuff they had, and even me as an artist seeing that, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. But I think that there is something beautiful about the authenticity of being able to come to a new place, somewhere that you haven't played before in front of a crowd that has never been able to witness you live. And the only thing that they're able to experience is you as the artist playing on stage, the sound that you're creating. And there's no other distractions, if that's what you want to call it, even though they're wonderful distractions. There's no other distractions. They're forced to pay attention to you. And if you bring it, and if you're good, that's what they talk about. They don't talk about how cool the screens were. They don't talk about how awesome the pyro was. They talk about how good of a live band you are, and that's our goal.
That's awesome, man. You're going to be bringing what a decade's worth of material down with you to debut in Australia. When it comes to putting together these set lists, considering how frequently you put out material, how difficult it is to know what to play on your first venture here.
Um, streaming services have made that a little bit easier now, right? It's like, okay, we know what your favorite songs are. We got the top 10. But we don't always pick what's in the top 10. Sometimes we get some of those those deep cuts from the catalog and we pull them out and we play those and sometimes we actually ask our fan base but we gauge it. I mean, we've been touring so much, right? I mean, we're tour dogs, we're road dogs, so we're out there a lot. We know what songs work really good live. We know how well they go off. We know what the energy's like from us as a band. We know what the energy's like from the crowd. So I think those are all really strong indicators as to like how we can put a set list together. When you're doing a festival and you're not the headliner, typically you get about 30 minutes. I mean, that's usually what it is. So, a 30-minute set's difficult when you do have that much material. It really is. So, because there's songs as an artist you want to play too. It's not just ones that you want to play because, people really want to hear them. But you're like, man, like, I want this because it's got, so much energy. I want this because it's got this vibe that we just really want, but you can't have them all. So typically what we try to do in a short set, like a 30-minute set, is what we call balls, man. Like we just bring We just bring the balls, dude. And it's just like how hard can we go in 30 minutes? Like and bring all the bangers, the barn burners, anything that's just going to be like, how do we get the circle pits going? How do we get the horns in the air? How do we get the arms waving and people jumping? Those are the ones that we usually bring for 30 minutes.
Do you have a quintessential pit activator in your repertoire? Like, is there a song that people tend to go the craziest for? What is it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you want me to give it to you? We
Yeah,
give it
give it
away.
to me.
Or we want to wait
Give it
till we're
away.
there to see if it works. Yeah. Well, it's Panic. I mean, Panic is always, Panic is it's crazy. But I'll tell you what, man, it really depends, man. Because we're very energetic on stage. The performance is everything, right? And I don't think that the performance always just lies in your technical ability to be a singer and stand there and perform the most solid notes that you've ever performed. Although we pride ourselves in being very good technical singers or instrumentalists. I think a lot of it is the energy and the emotion that you pour out on stage too, right? Because like that's all a gigantic part of the show. So we keep all that in mind. And I've seen mosh pits to some of our softest parts in our songs. Like I just look at them like, you guys are just, the crowd is just they're ready to go off, man. And I think that they any opportunity they can have to go off, they take it. So I'm hoping and I'm guessing that it's probably going to be a lot like that when we're in Australia, and I'm really looking forward to it, man.
That's awesome. Now, your sound's really interesting. It touches on so many different genres. So you got your rock, your hip hop, your electronic, alternative, hard rock, etc. I'm curious, did that come about just as an organic reaction to what you were listening to as a musician growing up, or did you make a concerted effort to try and incorporate as many different angles as you could into your music?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of both. I don't think that anything is deliberate, really. In that sense, I think that I grew up through hip hop. I didn't like rock and metal. My sister was the rock and metal head when I was real young, and she was like Metallica. She was really into the grunge stage, so she was like Pearl Jam was her favorite band. And, I've come to love those bands now, but when I was a kid, like I didn't want to get into that. I was just strictly hip hop, Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, Bone Thugs and Harmony, things like that. Those were all everything that I wanted to do. New metal came out and blew my mind like it did everybody else that found it in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was really young at that point, and that music blew my mind in the fact that you could cross those genres together. So I rapped. I was terrible at it, but I rapped when I was younger, and I'd never really thought of it. And Breaking Benjamin was local to where I'm at, and Breaking Benjamin made me. There were other bands, but they're the ones who really made me want to put a band together. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I want to play guitar. Like, I want to do this. Like, I really started getting into organic instruments. And I'd been in bands where I played seven-string guitar, I was a guitarist, like I wasn't a vocalist, I didn't do any of that stuff. And then one day I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go back to my roots and I'm gonna rap. And honestly, it was Hollywood Undead that really made me want to do that because their music was so angsty. And Meteora and Hybrid Theory were obviously staples in my library when I was a kid. But I feel like that angst had kind of been lost as it progressed, and Hollywood Undead really picked that angst up. And I was like, damn, I was like, this is so sick. So Notes from the Underground was like one of the big albums that really inspired me to kind of go back to my roots rap, put it together with all the things that I had learned. People had asked me that question, and I when I get into business discussions with like the label or things like that, is one of the things that I talk about is I'm a fan first of this genre. Like I'm not creating this genre because like I don't know about it. Like I grew up through it. Korn being on Good Things. Korn's one of my favorite bands from when I was younger. And you look at Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, and I mean I could go down the list all day long. All these incredible bands from that genre. I felt in the 2000 teens, the early 2000 teens, I felt like there wasn't enough of that music anymore. And everyone said this music's dead. Nobody's doing it. That's why it doesn't exist. It sucks. The genre sucked the life out. Whatever. I mean, you can go all day with the headlines as to why new metal kind of starts, ceased to exist in the 20 teens when metalcore really was on its rise. And I love metalcore too. We can get into that a different day. So I'm one of my favorite genres as well. But yes, so that's what I'm saying. It wasn't necessarily deliberate, but there was that mentality that I had is I'm a fan of the genre and I'm not getting enough of it. I want to create it. So then I just decided to start creating the music, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just throwing shit at the wall and I was hoping that it would stick. And it stuck, man. You know, I lucked out, and it stuck, and I've had the opportunity to play with my favorite bands that I've grown up with. I've toured twice with Hollywood Undead, the band that was probably most inspirational to this style that I'm doing. And now here we are in 2024, and people couldn't have been more dead wrong about the genre, because it's alive and well, it's kicking, baby, and everybody's mixing rap with their rock these days. So I'm just really happy that we stuck it out, started it when we started it, and we're on the growth pattern that we're on now, man, because I'm living the dream, baby.
It's pretty awesome that this tour happens to coincide with Korn being on the lineup too. Judging by you mentioning they're one of your favorites, is that something that you're really looking forward to being able to take in for 3 nights? The majesty of Korn live.
Always. You know, I'm jaded in a sense because I've been doing this for so long that I've had the opportunity to tour with these bands or be on festivals, play with them, do whatever, right? Meet them, know them, mutual friends, whatever it is. Um, but I'm not too jaded to know how grateful I am to have the opportunity to have been a kid, be inspired by these amazing artists, and stand on the stage or go to the front of house at the soundboard and watch them do what they inspired me to do and what I'm doing now. And I think it's beautiful because Korn is one of those bands that I will always remember. Like, I've seen them in the States numerous times. Um, and I've been abroad only a little. And when we went to Germany in 2016, Korn was one of the bands that we played with in Germany. So I was able to see Korn in Germany at Rockland Park. That was so sick. And now I'm going abroad again to Australia, a country I've never been to, and Korn's there again, man. And it's like every time I go to a new country, Korn is in that new country, and I'm just starting to think, man, like maybe we need to put a tour together with Korn. Like maybe this is a precursor to something incredible, man. But yeah, watching Korn in Australia, I don't know that it gets any better than that.
I mean, the only thing that could make it better is maybe a kangaroo will hop up next year.
As long as it's not as vicious and brutal as I hear kangaroos are, I'm okay with it. But I hear they will gut you. So I don't know that I'm like overly interested in being gutted by a kangaroo. Is that true? Like, do they gut people? Like
Uh,
disembowel people?
it's not a common occurrence, but it has been known to happen. I'm not gonna say it can't happen. And
Yeah,
they
it's crazy, dude. Like,
yeah.
disemboweled by a kangaroo. Like here in the States, like until like I heard that everything in Australia tries to murder you. Like you always hear like things that like you see a kangaroo, like as a kid, right? Growing up, you see a kangaroo and you're like, oh, that's cute. Like it hops around. And then like you become an adult and you're like, no, don't fuck with those things. They'll murder you. And it's like, wait, what? Like I always thought that they were just these cute, they had boxing gloves, you know what I mean? Like there's just these cute animals, man. So yeah, I'm cool with it as long as it doesn't try to murder me. I'm cool. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a really good way of explaining a mosh pit too. You're cool with it as long as it doesn't try and murder you.
Right, right. Dude, when we have mosh pits, I always say, because I'm not brave enough to get in them anymore. Be honest with you, like I'm not going out there. I could. I'm just feeling like I might break a knee or something, and then I can't tour. But um, with the mosh pits, man, my number one rule is that everyone can beat the living hell out of each other. If that's what you guys want to do, beat the living hell out of each other. Just make sure that if someone falls down, you pick them up. That's the most important thing, because someone gets trampled or something like that, dude, then it's no fun for anyone. So yeah, if you want to get out there and kill each other metaphorically and get all those demons out, man, and beat the shit out of each other, as long as you all are coming out with smiles on your broken faces, man, I got no problem with it at all.
It's an awesome way of explaining what we want at the Good Things Festival for our mosh
Yeah.
pits. Now,
We want
before
everyone smiling, man. If you got a little blood in that smile and that's what makes you happy, then if you're feeling like a hockey player by the time you're done, I'm not mad about it.
I'd say, man, now before I let you go, someone's standing around. It's late afternoon. I haven't seen the time schedule, but say it's late afternoon from Ashes to New are about to take the stage. And they're like, should I go watch them or should I go watch someone else? Why should they come and watch you?
Well, because Danny performs naked. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Danny doesn't perform naked. Listen, man, I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, do you like our music? At the end of the day, how many opportunities do we really have to come to Australia? I can tell you the same thing that everyone's going to tell you about why you should come see their band. That's the way that I could sell it to you. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to come down to Australia, and I'm going to bring the same show that I bring every time that I'm up here. Our crowds grow They've been growing exponentially, and from what I hear is because there's an authenticity to what we bring to the stage. And I'm a passionate person. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and when I get up there, it is basically a fucking exorcism. And I'm just exercising the demons, man. And if you got demons to exercise, come to our set, man. We'll destroy them all together. And that's the way that I approach playing music. It is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm grateful every second that I step foot on that stage. And if you want the opportunity to just get up there and throw down old school, the way that we all intended to do it from the beginning, that's what we're going to do when we come to Australia.
That sounds awesome, man. I'll see you in Melbourne in less than a month. Less than
a month. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the plane and being in Australia. I'm not looking forward to the plane ride. So, I don't look forward to plane rides at all anymore. Like, I mean, they don't really bother me, but 22 hours on a jet, man. I don't know. I'm going to get a lot of movies in. Maybe I'll write some songs. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do, but I know that once I get to Australia, I'm going to be super grateful to step foot on that island, man. I'm going to be super, super stoked to be there.
Sounds awesome. I did that flight last week. I got 6 movies in. See if you can beat 6.
Hell yeah, man. I could just watch The Irishman like 3 times. And
so true. The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, right. I'll just watch the trilogy and then I'll be there.
That's it. That's brilliant, man. Thanks for chatting to us on Good Things Brings. Have a wonderful night over there. And I'm going to go see Periphery, actually. That's what I'm doing today.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah, man. That's going to be sick. That's one of Danny's favorite bands. I'll tell him that you're doing something that he would love.
Yeah, sweet. See you, man.